Ben Hur, a classic, a landmark, considered to be one of the best movies ever made. You can find it on the New York Times' best 1000 movies ever made list and others. However, having said that, and also noting that it won a record 11 Oscars, and among them the most relevant, Best Actor, Charlton Heston, Best Supporting Actor, Best Director, Best Screenplay, and then many other technical ones. We can get down to the business of destroying, no, just exaggerating and doing this first from a different angle, that of a viewer that looks at it from a different part of the world, not affiliated with one of the most important media outlets, which you should consult, by the way. They are the ones that can tell you more and better and accurate things. This is just an alternative, not really significant, but we'll find out the purpose eventually. As Manuel in 40 Towers, eventually he says a few times. And so a personal point of view, as I said, Charlton Heston first. Yes, remarkable, and much more. As I said, you can and should look for reliable sources, as on CNN they have that program, for more information on his performance, his stature in this film and the film itself. But on a personal note, this guy went on to become, as far as I know, the leader of the National Rifle Association, and with that, his associations are not wonderful. And we can anticipate and say that his presence in one or another movie might diminish it, might target it for, I can't say further boycott, because slowly some of those classics will fall into, if not total oblivion, at least a shadow, because of special effects that, even if praised at the time, they're no longer perhaps even watchable. I mean, present day audiences are used with fantastic intergalactic battles that are well made on computers that are so sophisticated now. They didn't have those then, and you can see. In fact, on another note, Ben Hur is mentioned in a book of philosophy I've read recently, and not because of the deep themes which are there, and indeed there are. There's religion, there's Jesus that shows at one time with a miracle, the leprosy of the mother and sister of Ben Hur, Judas, by the way, not the Judas we know betraying Jesus, but another Judas. As Ben can be a good guy, Ben can also be a bad guy. So Judas was just a name. Apparently, for some reason I thought Judas is only one, but Judas we know as epitome of the traitor. So he's mentioned in the Philosopher's Toolkit in a section very interesting, related to the fact that we simply don't see many things that happen take place in front of us, just in front of us. There's a famous gorilla experiment. You can find it on the internet if you're interested, and it is startling. People just don't see a gorilla right there in front under circumstances. As I said, instead of explaining and spending time which should be dedicated to Ben Hur on that, you can watch it if you're if you're here, if you're interested. But then Ben Hur is in this same category where it's interesting to see how we don't notice, we don't notice that on the street. They've used this in comedy programs also. We talk with somebody and we're showing him the direction for the center. We look back and we don't see that it's somebody else. Quite often we don't notice. In Ben Hur and in other movies, they had someone in charge with verifying the consistency of the various scenes. You can't have a hero walking dressed in a blue suit and then he's coming out of the apartment in a dark suit. Well, that could be explained by him changing there, but without changing, without anything explaining it, you can't have him. You see what I mean? In Ben Hur, there's a discrepancy as regards to the famous scene where they compete, chariots pulled by horses compete. There's a lot of violence there, but then you see that the numbers change, numbers of chariots change. The fewer, then the more, so there's something like that, and it was noticed. What I find upsetting is the fact that in this and other films made decades ago, and they mistreated the animals, the horses in this case. Here in other places, many were injured. More than mistreated, abused, killed eventually in the making of this and other movies. Okay, but otherwise a landmark.